What's going on, good people? It's the common man, Nate Lewis, again. I'm back for another show. Um, I had just planned on doing the one show. I planned on doing my birthday show with the my favorites, the top 5 wrestling matches and the top 5 MMA fights that I've seen. And that has already been posted, so you can go check that out. But I about lost my shit here. And a couple weeks ago, I had promised to do a rant on the underground forum for just blatant fucking stupidity. And I put it off. I kind of calmed down. My Darner was down, so I decided not to do it. But they found a new way to get to me today. Ronda Rousey has a interview with Ellen today. I don't think it's actually aired yet. I think it airs in about an hour or so. But there's sound bites and little tidbits out, and it's a classic case of our society only reading headlines or getting the sound bites and just running the fuck off with it. And it's happened again, and this time it's happened to Ronda. So Ronda's on Ellen to talk about her SI cover that she's on, along with being in the magazine. SI is celebrating women of different body types, which is long overdue. But Ronda will be one of the 3 that are gracing the cover. And while she's doing that promotion, and there's other things I'm sure she'll probably talk about during the interview, the clip that is kind of circulating around that I'm pretty sure maybe 10% of people who are commenting have actually fucking seen. It's a 6-minute clip, and she's talking about her last fight against Holly Holm. Now, I don't have to tell you what was the result of that Holly Holm Ronda Rousey fight. I prefer not to talk about it, but obviously Ronda was a head kick KO in the second round. And she's on Ellen, and she's just kind of going through her what went on before, during, and after the fight. And the biggest headline, or the headline I'm seeing the most from people, is the part where Ronda's talking about after the fight, she is back with the doctors. And at that moment, she was upset, she was disappointed, and in that split second, she thought of just killing herself, and that without being undefeated, without being the champion, that she was nothing. So people have taken that, and I cannot explain to you all types of shit people are saying. I'm sorry, I'm looking through this now. And I'm reading some of these as we speak. There's more shit popping up. Things from like, this shows that she making the joke about how when Dana White said that Ronda was the most mentally strong person that he knew, and people making fun of that quote, to people saying that, oh God, her father died of suicide. How dare she do that? How dare she even mention doing that? Doesn't she know that suicide is a seriously selfish thing? Just all types of shit like that, and it's really mind-boggling to me. The quote I just gave you, or I was kind of more paraphrasing. The key is that when you get sound bites, when you get headlines, a lot of the times you get the direct quote or paraphrase of the person in the interview. You never actually get the context of the actual question itself. So Ellen starts by saying, what was going on going into the fight. Ronda says, I had 3 fights in 9 months. I was tired, but I've been tired before. I've been through worse situations, but she was just tired. She talks about the fight and how the first exchange kind of really rocked her, and she was having depth perception problems the entire rest of the fight, and also said that she cut her lip open. It was things like that, kind of what happened. And if you rewatch the fight, it's pretty obvious that Ronda is not the same really after that first exchange, and it explains that. Then immediately afterwards, Ellen starts to discuss, how Ronda's head was, like literally how her head was being knocked out like that. And Ronda brought up that, hey, I had a headache pretty much until the next morning. It wasn't so much the pain there. Ella went right in like, hey, so how did you feel right afterwards? And so that's when you get the part of the soundbite that's making headlines now. I mean, I'm looking, if you go and Google it right now, if you Google Ronda Rousey right now, it's not about her SI photo, it's about the comment about her contemplating suicide after the KO. And it's just really, it's sloppy work on the media. It's also sloppy work on just the people out here just making all types of fucking comments. Like there's one I'm reading now where someone's gone back to what Betch Correia had said, which was the comment about, I hope she doesn't kill herself after the fight. And they're pointing at that and saying, oh, maybe Betch was right. And, that's one of those things that's kind of like, no, it's not the most fucked up thing to say. It's kind of it's just weird circumstances how that came about. But this was the way I had to explain to some of these comments. I posted some comments in reaction to some of these other ones. Look, we've all gone through a period of time where we were heavily disappointed in the outcome of something. I compared it to the time when I was back in school and my basketball team was the best basketball team in the district, and we ended up not winning a game we clearly should have won. We all felt should have won, and how I was all types of depressed afterwards. I didn't want to go to school for the next 3 days afterwards. Just because I didn't want to have to deal with seeing faces of people who saw that, or the people who have went through that experience, and just didn't want to have to deal with it. And you see it all the time. LeBron James, after the Miami Heat lost in the 2011 NBA Finals, said he didn't come out of his house for a week. When you're competing at no matter what level, and you have to deal with disappointment, there is a period of time of depression, or maybe I don't want to use the word depression, but there's a period of time of disappointment. And she was describing at that moment how she felt. And she even quickly said, but I looked up and I saw Travis, and he's the one that helped me through it. So this isn't a thing where she sat around for days just waving around a fucking knife, or thinking about taking pills or running off a cliff or some shit like that. She's talking about a brief few moments after a devastating fight, which, if you've heard what Ronda has said in answers to when she was considering retirement, she always says, the reasons I'm getting the opportunities I have with the movies and the sports covers and the cameos is because I'm an undefeated champion. And so at that moment, you're no longer the undefeated champion. You're thinking everything I worked so hard for is going to be gone. And for people to not get that part of it, or just refusing to acknowledge it and use it as more, now this is more shit I can say about this person, it shows me a level of the internet's full of fucked up people. People are idiots. And part of this also goes to something I wanted to discuss the last time the UG in particular pissed me off about Ronda, is there's a level of, I think, sexist in this also. I mentioned LeBron James. There was, I think Mirko Cro Cop was expressed disappointment after his loss. Daniel Cormier, after he lost to John Jones, broke down and cried at the press conference. We've seen male athletes, and we've heard male athletes come out and discuss being depressed after devastating losses. But for some reason, here we have this young lady who was on top of the world. This young lady who was breaking down barriers and accomplishing new things and branching out and taking MMA to a place it hadn't been before. And not saying to its greatest heights, because you can make the argument for Brock Lesnar and GSP and Chuck Liddell for doing that, but just in a different direction that Ronda was taking them. And here she is with a loss, and it's the blowback to this is just really insane to me. And it's something that's, something that I don't really know how to react to. Like I said, I don't know whether it's not a level of trolling. Some of it is, but I think some of it is just like this deep-rooted sexist that I've cannot believe we're still dealing with here in 2016. Like I'm reading through some of the comments now. Too bad she brought it upon herself. She has issues. Just all types of just unbelievable shit that if this had been a male fighter going through the same thing, would not be the case. So for anyone who has seen the headlines and has formed an opinion without even seeing the video or seeing the interview in question, stop, watch the fucking interview, and just think back on a time where you were depressed at an outcome. Maybe it was a situation at work where you were upset you didn't get a promotion, or a time you've been fired, or a time a girlfriend left you. Just anything we had to deal with huge disappointments, and think about those little bit of times where you were at your lowest. And you'll see this is exactly what she's talking about. This isn't something that needs to be psychoanalyzed, and this isn't something that needs to just be thrown more shit at her. She was describing a period of time in her life, and she's allowed to do that. She just happened to do it on national TV, and you're doing it from the comfort of your parents' basement. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on this topic, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening. You know the links. Head over to thecommonmanpodcast.weebly.com. All the links for how to watch and subscribe to the show are all there. Until next time, peace and chicken grease.